Hi, this is Roger, thanks for dropping by. I've had to put off watering this week for reasons already stated, but today I'm going to try and catch up. My hand just seems to be fine now. There is still a very slight sign of swelling, but there's no pain now, full mobility and movement, everything's fine, which means I can pick up pots, hold pots, pour water, move things around without any inconvenience. But it does mean I've got a lot of catching up to do. I mean, today, quite honestly, everything in here ought to be watered. Well, the fact that I do the cymbidiums as a separate run, I'm going to leave those till tomorrow, otherwise it'll be too much. But what you're looking at is an empty shelf. And when we have an empty shelf, we often do one shelf rack at a time, which is what we're going to do today. Now, this particular shelf is a double shelf, and it's probably my shelf with the most number of plants on. This one over here, probably a close second. I don't know, there's quite... Yeah, we'll go, certainly this is the one with the most. It's also the one that has some of my higher light plants that live right up that end, because I still get the sun through the roof on half of that shelf. So my highlight orchids are up that end, and in addition to that, some of my higher light oncidium types are on this shelf. Obviously not odontoglossums, they're down there. So they're all squashed up over here, and we'll try and sort of go through them in the order that I want to put them back, so that I gradually make room over here so that we can see things. It's a bit of a mixture, but the majority are oncidium types, not all. So the first one isn't. This is my Laelia anceps, which was a failing plant. I thought I'd lost it, and then it produced a pretty poor spike last time round. But then I noticed we had some growth. Now, from the back end of the plant, after that new growth, which was rather small and rather weak, we now have another new growth and roots. And from this one, which was the last one that bloomed, again we have a nice new growth. Now, that would probably do better with some room to grow, but this plant's recovering. I'm reluctant to move it now. And this growth has got room to get its roots down in the pot. It'll be the last one on this growing tip that can do that, so it will have to be repotted. And I'll probably take some of the back end of the plant off when I do so. But we do have effectively two growing leads. So that's that one. Now, this is a cooler growing Cattleya type, Laelia anceps, but it loves the bright light, so that lives right up there against the glass, so it gets as much light as possible without going outside. Which is good stuff. Now, next we're going to have a look at this one. Now, this is Oncostelli catatanti. It will not bloom. It has in the past. There are flower spikes, or evidence of flower spikes, so it has bloomed. It's more than flowering size. I've got two. The other one is up here, so that's that one. This one I'm keeping it in lower light. This one is going right up in the highlight this year to see if that'll induce blooms. Got to try something different. Keep doing the same, you get the same results. But it's pushing up a lot of new growths. There's a lot of nice, strong, healthy new growths coming up on this one. Around here, another one here. So it's coming into growth. And I'm hoping that it can manage to produce a bloom spike. Blooms on this are absolutely stunning. So this is where we start. Left-handed and a balancing act, and hope we don't drop the plant on the way over. And this one lives here, and I'm going to have to use a one finger of the other hand. So that lives right up tight there against Laelia anceps, where it gets bright light. The bright light comes to about here at the moment, so halfway along the shelf. So anything from here upwards gets the brightest light. From here back it still gets quite bright light, but without that filtered sun coming through the roof, which is obviously very bright. Next one is my Renanthera. This is Imshutiana, so it is a species. It is growing slowly, bandaceous type. Even in this bright light, it still may never bloom. These are really high light orchids to get them to bloom, and the trouble is I only get that level of light for about 3 months of the year, and to get it to bloom it could probably do with 7 or 8 months, but we try. And it lives again right up here in the brightest light against the glass as well, so it gets reflected light from outside as well as the bright light filtered sun from above. So that's that one. Right, the next one is a Brassia hybrid, and it's just about a Brassia. I got it from Burnham's. They had a little cluster of them in a place where the Brassias aren't normally for sale, and there was probably about 9 or 10 of them. They were all different. They were all in various stages of blooming or going over or anything like that. They'd been reduced. And when I say it's only just about a Brassia should have very long spidery petals and sepals. Now this one has longish petals and sepals, but I've seen Oncidiums a similar shape. So it's not a pure Brassia, whatever's mixed in there, but boy is this coming into growth. You know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and some in the middle. So probably 8, maybe 9 new growths. I doubt if we'll get a spike on all of them, but we're going to get some spikes on some of them. Brassias are up the higher light end of the Oncidium intergeneric alliance. That's the word I'm after. So they come into the Oncidium alliance and they're up the higher light end. So again, that gets that filtered sun. Right, where are we now? Next we do the Vanda. Now this hasn't long been in a video where basically the roots got trimmed, the stem got trimmed, and it got put in what is a ridiculously huge basket, but the basket now contains all of the roots, including a lot of new root tips that were actively growing. And this bark will stay wet a couple of days. So it gives the plant far more chance to hydrate than it had before when a lot of the roots were aerial. So again, trying something a bit different because it's quite badly dehydrated, certainly down the lower end. It is growing. We do have new things. I've had this one absolutely ages. The blooms are absolutely gorgeous, and I don't want to lose it, and I would like to bring it back into enough health to bloom again. Now I'm going to have to put the camera down. There's no way I'm going to pick that up with one hand. It's just been watered. It's too heavy. So we'll take that and then I'll pick the camera back up again. Right, so again, right up in the filtered sunlight, brightest light against the glass. So that's that. So we now start filling in this shelf with the brightest light requirements first, followed by those that need a bit less. So let's find some more Brassias. Right, so this one here is what's left of what was a very big plant. So effectively it's a rescue, and as rescues go, I think we'll class that as rescued. Lovely strong new growth. Previous bulb stayed plump. We got a load of new roots and still got more roots growing, so that's rescued. And that is Brassia vericosa, so it's a species, and it's named variety Sea Breeze, one of Burnham's own, I believe. And that comes up again, brassica, higher light, so that can go there. Right, what do we got here then? This is Oncidium barocco. This is unknown whether it likes the brighter light or not, but it is an Oncidium type whose blooms indicate in the arena of the dancing lady type Oncidiums, they tend to like brighter light. So we'll stick this one up. Gets a little bit less light, so that can go there. That's doing okay. Again, sorry, we didn't really have a good look at it, did we? Got plenty of new growths coming. There's 2 here, 1 here, another 2 here. So there's plenty of new growths coming. Should push on, and then we should get some blooms as those start to mature. You've got a funny actually, because some Oncidium types, they push on their new growths and the spikes start to grow well before those growths have started to mature. So they're like halfway up, which seems odd. Seems like you'd think that they would mature a growth, nice big fat bulb, and then put the energy into the spikes. But they seem to be able to do both at the same time. Not all do it like that, but I've got quite a few that do. Right, next is this. This is an unknown. I don't know what this is. I could go back through all my videos and find out where I repotted it, where there would be more of a clue. But it's an Oncidium type. It could be an intergeneric. It's not a brassica, because it would have a label if it was. So it's just an Oncidium type, and it's a single bulb with a single new growth that is pushing on really well. And there is no sign of a spike, which in theory is good, because the plant is lacking in strength, quite honestly. Oh no, there is a spike. There's a spike down in there. Well, let's let it go. It's a good sized bulb it's producing, and the back bulb behind it is pretty big. So we'll see what it can do. So that's coming into bloom. So that can go there. There's quite a bit of space on this shelf. I could get quite a bit more on. In fact, while I'm thinking about it, let's get a bit more space between the plants, which effectively gives them more light. Yeah, by separating them out a bit. So we just give them a bit more space. Sort of like that, because we've only got a couple more to go. Right, now, this is another unknown. It just says Oncidium hybrid. Now that's a Burnham's bought in label, I believe. Yeah, orchids.uk.co. But it's not one of their normal labels, so I think this would have been a bought in plant at the time when I got it. And look at that. That's not only a spike coming, that's mealybugs. I always say, if you see bugs, treat them when you see them. Don't wait. If I wait till next time I think about it, hang on, I'm going to have to put the camera down again. Because I need to open this leaf up to get the spray in there. They've just managed. I do have a few mealybugs in the grow room now, which I'm really annoyed about. It's something I've hardly ever seen in the grow room. I mean, the Phalaenopsis. Oh look, there's another spike here as well. So there's a second spike. And again, the mealybugs down in the crevice of the leaf. They will go for your new growths and your spikes. And they need dealing with fast, because those types of parts of your plant can suffer badly from mealybugs, because they are very soft, those parts of the plant, which means they can do quite a lot of damage by biting in. The more tougher, new, mature parts of a plant are more difficult for them to bite into. So they tend to make one hole and stick with it. So Anyway, where were we? Not quite sure why that one hasn't got a black pot. Oh, there's another one over here with that. Let's get some. Oh no, I'll do that later. I don't want to mess about black pots at the moment. So this is a type of Oncidium, and I don't know what it is. It's probably an intergeneric, but again, we have some spikes. Yeah, so we've got some spikes coming on this one, which means I can find out what it is, and then I can go back into my notes where I'd have got it in bloom. I'd have made a note of what the blooms look like. Yeah, then I can put a label in here with a little bit more identification. What I usually do if it's just a hybrid and I've got no name is I put a brief description of the colour. And that makes it unique as far as the label's concerned, and I know which plant goes with which item in my notes. So that's that one. 2 spikes on there, one pushing on and another one just starting. So you can go there. Actually, you can come forward like that, and you can go in the gap. There we go. Right. Now this one I'm going to do next, because this one goes at the back of the shelf. Now this is Prosthetia radiata, I believe. Yeah, Prosthetia, however you want to do it. Radiata. It's a Burnham's one, and you'd think in this day and age they could produce a label with uppercase and lowercase, because you can't differentiate species from hybrid names unless you've got that ability. So looks like we're getting a few mealybugs on this shelf. Not bad. I mean, just a couple. Oh, look, on that new growth as well. Tykes. So we might have to get the systemic, knock them back. But it's not exactly an outbreak, it's just a few, so it's not the end of the world. Anyway, this one's got 2 nice spikes coming. The fragrance from this will absolutely fill the grow room. Absolutely. And then in addition to that, we've got a new growth here. We've got another one here which is over the edge of the pot, and then we've got another one in here. So we've got 3 new growths following on, and so far with this plant every new growth has bloomed. So every successive growth has bloomed, and we are starting to get much bigger bulbs as we progress. These are the last 2 to have matured. This one's in flower. This one's already bloomed, this one's in flower, so we're starting to get bigger bulbs than some of the originals. So it's doing okay, it's got a good root system. So, oh, I can't lift that with one hand. This wasn't perhaps such a good idea doing it this way. Right, so we'll have a look at that in a minute. And last but not least is another one that's doing spikes, and it's doing spikes all on the latest growth. And we have this one here that's branching and showing its buds. Now again, I don't know which one this is. It's got a second spike on the other side, which indicates a strong, vigorous plant. And then it's got that silly little thing sticking out the top of the bulb. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what this actually produces, but it's going to have quite a few blooms, that's for sure. I don't know how big they're going to be, but they're obviously going to be a dark colour. That is a very rich bud colour, so at least the sepals will be a dark colour. What colour the rest of it is, we'll have to wait and see. So again, a single back bulb. Oh no, sorry, there's 2 back bulbs there. One of which was in flower when I got it, this one. Now I've produced a new growth, nice big fat one, plump bulb, and we've got 3 flower spikes. I'm not sure that's going to come to much. But anyway, doing okay. And the radiata goes up this end of the shelf, which is the not quite so bright end. out of that filtered sun, and it goes at the back because it's quite large. And then this one takes up that bit of space at the front. There's room for more plants on this shelf should I need to move any around. So if I think something needs brighter light, then it can come over onto this shelf. There's room. There we go. Yeah, so one shelf at a time. There's a little bit of variety on there, although the majority are Oncidium alliance, Brassias, Oncidiums, and then we've got the two Vandaceous types and a single Cattleya type, Laelia anceps. So a bit of a mixture. And as I said, these are all reasonably high light orchids until I get proven otherwise. So with these Oncidium types, probably into generics with no ID, I will tell the category of light they go into by the size and shape of the blooms when we get them. So they might end up coming out of the bright light into lesser light, but we'll wait and see. So right, so I'm halfway around my watering. I've now done today's video. It's still morning time, it's not 11 o'clock yet, and I will just put the camera to one side now and process this later, so it'll get posted in the afternoon sometime. I will mention now that I've decided what the members only video will be, which I will film tomorrow and probably post tomorrow, Friday. And I'm going to have a look at all of my Paphiopedilums. I haven't got a huge amount, and discuss how they're growing, how I look after them and everything like that, with some hints about how you could grow them quite successfully in the home. They are one of the genus of orchids that can adapt to growing in the home quite well and do well and flower. So that's the members only video for tomorrow. And don't forget, if you're interested in seeing the members only video, what do you think you need to do? Yep, you need to become a member, either on YouTube or on the Patreon site. The links to both are in the description of all my videos. So you don't have to go looking for a specific video, they're in all the video descriptions. And if you're watching on a unit where you can't see the descriptions, then just have a look on your phone. You should be able to get to the descriptions on your phone. I know smart TVs, not only can't you see descriptions, but info cards don't work and you can't leave comments. All you can do is watch, basically. So some devices are more adaptable to work with the YouTube facilities than others. So anyway, do think about becoming a member. You get extra little videos, extra perks, and I do tend to put an amount of care into the not that I don't care about my other videos, don't get me wrong, I care about all my videos, but I do try and single out things suitable for the members only. So they are a little bit special, shall we say. And I will see you next time. Thanks for dropping by.